Even if one person sees your video and one person is touched and one person feels like they have a positive impact, did you meet your goal?
Actually, I have a topic on which I want some discussion. A small topic. It will take almost around 5 to 10 minutes maximum. So my
Okay.
topic is about expectations. Like people expect something from others, and if they don't get in return, they become disappointed. They become sad, and sometimes they feel like very low. So how to tackle this type of situation? This is what I want to know.
Are you talking about expectations on if you were to help somebody, or about your own personal expectations?
Expectations, like if we are giving importance to some other persons and that other person is not giving us importance, so about these type of things, so it hurts very badly.
Where do you think the pain is coming from?
Pain is coming from direct mind because we feel that we are being like someone is not doing good for us, we are doing something for others but others are not caring for us, so this type of situation happens.
100. So do you think we can ask or control or get people to act a certain way?
No, it's definitely impossible.
It's definitely impossible.
Yeah.
Perfect. So then the question becomes is, how can we have expectations without attaching to any kind of outcome for the
but it's our human nature, no? Like if we do something for someone, then we always expect that someone will do same thing for us at least.
So where is the pain coming from there?
Because the other person is not doing the same which we are doing for him.
Is the pain coming because the other person is not doing the same, or is the pain coming because you're expecting them to do the same thing for you as you did for them?
I can say it's a combination of both things.
Now, what happens if we were able to let go of the need for the other person to do the same thing?
Obviously we feel good if we control our mind that we do not think like this way the other person will do the same thing, but this is a human nature which automatically comes to our mind that if we do something then we can get something.
So if we can't change the other person, the only thing we can and actually do have control over is ourselves.
Yeah, right.
How do we get to the place? And this is a very good question. It's a very, very, and it's very, you're very right. It's human nature.
Yeah.
But if we can't change the other person and we can't control the outcome that we want to experience from them, what is it that we do have power over?
We have power, control over ourselves.
And we have power and control over our own thoughts.
We should have control over on our own thoughts, but we are not able to control it. This is a real problem.
100%. Not always. But the cool thing about being human is that we do in every single moment have a choice, at least for that moment, to choose whether we're going to think intentionally. So we're going to think the thoughts we want to think just in that moment, in one moment, or whether we're going to have thoughts come to us and take over our feelings, our emotions, our body, and our actions without choosing those thoughts.
Is it possible that we think like this way, that if we do something good for other person and other person is just ignoring us or he doesn't value the things which we do for them, so is it possible that we do not think in like this way, that we need something in return? Actually, I don't understand that how to stay happy in this situation, because when we do something good, it automatically comes to a person that I need something in return.
So my advice would be to look at the thought that's causing the actual feeling or emotion, and the emotion of pain. And so in that, it's the expectation that you have when you're doing something for someone that you hope they react in a similar way. Or you hope they give back to you that which you invested in them.
Okay.
So what would be a different thought that would feel a little bit better? Let's say you want to do something for the person and you want to do it without feeling a pain of expectation.
Okay.
So how could you think about the situation differently that feels a little bit easier?
It feels easier if we do something like, if we do not expect something from any other person, we just do it from our heart. I think this is the only solution to this problem. Like, do not expect anything from anyone.
Now, does that thought actually feel good though, if you expected nothing from nobody ever?
I think that thought will be good, but actually problem is I don't know how to do it.
So what if we're allowed to expect that change will happen, that we want certain results in our lives, we want certain outcomes in our lives, and we're going to take action towards that, but we're not going to expect it from a specific person?
Okay, I got your point.
So sometimes I feel like what happens with people is that they put so much weight either on the person, or let's say, I want my career to give me this, or I want this person to give me this. Look at how much I've invested. I do all of these things for my children, and they're teenagers and they act like rebellious punks, you know, like the question is, do we want to let go of the desire for progress in our job? Do we want to let go, or the desire to advance in our career? Do we want to let go of the desire for love in a relationship? Do we want to let go of the desire for our kids to be good kids? No, because that also doesn't feel good.
Right. Exactly.
But on the other hand, if we expect our child on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. to act exactly how we want them to act, and they don't do it, does that feel good?
Oh, if you want someone to do something on some particular day, and if he doesn't do it, then obviously we will feel bad about it.
Correct. So the question is, what's really the question here? What's the deeper question?
Deep question is like, we want to control other person. I think this comes in between, that we want someone to do exactly what we want it to do, but that's not correct. I agree that it's not correct that we expect someone to do exactly something which we wanted them to do.
Right. So we'll put that. But what is it that we really want?
We really want to go things according to us. This is what, as a human being, we want.
We want things, I'm sorry, say that again.
We want that things will go as per our way, as we want it to.
Right. Totally. I haven't figured that one out yet. And is that necessarily such a bad thing, that we have desires, that we have dreams, that we have goals, that we have aspirations?
No, having dreams, having aspiration is not a bad thing. I think it's actually good that we have dreams, we have aspirations for something.
Right. So then the deeper question becomes, how do I achieve my dreams without being dependent on anyone specifically, any job specifically, any situation specifically, to bring me to my dreams, to my desires, to my goals?
So it's totally being dependent on ourselves.
But then you have a very good question. So how do I do that?
Yeah.
It's human nature.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. This is coming through my mind, that how to do it.
So when in your life have you ever felt like the situation that you wanted, expected, came to you rather than you forcing it to happen, and it felt really good?
It actually happens like every month. This thing happens, like we want something better, but the things doesn't go our way. Like everyone wanted to have some good business, everyone wanted to have some promotions in their life. Like I was in my office, I'm going to promote within few months, but then this lockdown occurs, and then everything, just disastrous things happens. Even I'm afraid that my salary will also get some cut. So
Right. So we want the promotion. We want to
Right.
get salary. But we've already established that maybe it can come through the current job. Maybe it can come in the office that you work in now. Maybe there can be there. Maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe it comes from a different way. Maybe it comes from a different angle. Maybe somebody offers you a whole new job. Maybe unexpected money comes in the mail, right? There's so many different scenarios. So the question is how do we pursue our dreams, our desires? How do we take action? How do we control the things that we can control without telling our job or our boss or our current situation that you have to be the one that gives me the promotion?
How to do it?
And it's a very good question. So if I was going to tell you that let's say we fast forward and you got the promotion and the salary is good and you're feeling confident. Tell me more about how you would be feeling when that happens.
I will feel like I have won something and I have achieved something through my hard work, through my dedication towards the work. So this is actually a reward for my job which I have done. So I will feel obviously happy and joyful.
Can you bring up those same feelings right now? Pretending as if it happened.
Yeah, we can pretend it. Like if I close my eyes and just make a scenario that I am being promoted, so I will feel happy.
Can you also right now create a scenario where you didn't get the job, where the salary is gone, where you don't know how the paycheck is coming? How would you feel then?
Actually, I created this scenario every day. Like my job, I am been terminated from job, and in this pandemic situation, I'm not having any job, and how do we survive in this market? So I have these thoughts on a daily basis, and even all Indians are having same thoughts. Like if job is not with them, how will they survive? How will they do their things? We have this scenario on a daily basis.
Right. So our mind naturally goes there.
Yeah.
Right? And how does your body feel? How does it feel when that thought comes up for you?
Actually, with me, some things are a little different. Like most of the times, I feel like it is really a very bad situation, and it will really feel bad. But then sometimes, if I think positively about this problem, I will feel like if I do not have any job, I have the ability, I have the potential to do something which I really wanted to do, and I will have a lot of time, so I can write my novel in that period, because that is not possible, or that is almost being impossible for me to write novel during the office days, because offices are there and then teaching time is there. So the time management will be a bit difficult task. So there is both positive and negative things coming on, but negative things are higher. Almost 70 to 80% times I feel negative about it, and only 20 times I feel positive about it.
So naturally, I'll tell you something about the human brain. Naturally, our brains have been wired scientifically. It's I can give a lot of research after this too that you can look into, but our brains pretty much have been wired for millions of years now to want to survive. And so what happens when you're living in the field and there's no real shelters and you have to hunt for every single meal or go to gather your food, and you need a tribe and you need to hang out and be, taken care of and take care of others in order to survive? The brain naturally starts to kind of be on alert, on high edge for danger. Yeah. What can be in our environment that can kill us? What can be in our environment that will cause a storm, will cause a drought, so food won't grow? What will happen if I get separated from my tribe when we're hunting, and so on and so forth? And it is the biggest blessing, because every time we're on high alert, looking for fear, looking for something to be scared of in our lives, that up until this point in humanity has really caused us to get this far, evolutionarily speaking.
Right.
So our brains have developed a really amazing program that runs all the time called I Gotta Survive.
Right. This is survival instinct, I think.
It's that, right. It's exactly the survival instinct, which is absolutely amazing until life gets pretty comfortable.
Right.
And so now for most people in the world, we have grocery stores and we have a house to stay in, and we don't have to go hunt for our own animals and so on and so forth. So now there's all this space in the brain that's running a program, and it's been running it for millions of years, called I Have to Survive, that no longer has the outside circumstances, right? The outside wanting to go on a hunt or needing to collect food. And it's wondering, your brain is literally wondering, what do I do with that energy?
Right.
So it looks for everything in the world that might kill it, that might lead it to not survive.
Right.
Which nowadays starts with our jobs and getting into fights with our kids and somebody driving the wrong way. So let me roll my window down and yell at them, right? So it starts to try to protect itself on very high awareness for very minimal things.
Right.
So that's really good to know, because it explains why we're so good at looking at the negative, at the scary stuff.
Actually, our mind is programmed like this way that we are always attracted to some negative things.
Right. And so one of the things that happens when something negative happens to us, or something upsetting or something sad happens, is a lot of people have the reaction of sadness. And then they start telling themselves, something's wrong with me. I shouldn't be sad. I should find a way to be happy. I'm not good enough. This is all my fault. So on and so forth. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, my brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Right.
My brain has been training for this for millions of years.
Right. So
right.
How to control this and how to make it a positive one?
Totally. So what happens is, the cool thing about the brain too is, and science is showing this more and more, is something called neuroplasticity. Have you heard of the term?
Neuroplasticity. I have heard about the term neuro-linguistic programming. I have heard it, but neuroplasticity I haven't heard.
NLP, yeah, no, it's really, and NLP works off of some of the principles of neuroplasticity, but pretty much what neuroplasticity teaches us is that what wires together fires together. So in the brain, it's like neural pathways. Our brain is really made up out of a lot of different connections that send signals electromagnetically to each other. I'm not a scientist. I don't understand all of this, but
even I have heard this and read it. it is connected by some waves, electromagnetic waves are there.
Right. So in our mind, there's actually energy. It's thoughts. It's units of I call thoughts units of mental energy. And it's just energetic connections. And what they do is they talk to each other all of the time. Now, depending on how we grew up, what kind of family we lived in, where we grew up, what the culture is, what the standard is, up until about the age of 7, our brain is being programmed. It's kind of in this state where it's not making a lot of conscious decisions. It's not fully aware. It is just living in this world of observing, taking everything in, wondering what's going on, and starting to build these connections. This needs to work along with this. This needs to work along with this. And so that's why, you know, a kid who, for example, throws a temper tantrum to get what they want, and then every single time they realize, oh, if I yell and kick and scream, I get the toy, or I get the ice cream, or I get the reward that I'm wanting, then they understand that, oh, I can yell and kick and scream every single time, and I'm going to keep getting what I want. Then they grow up, and because that's been programmed in the brain, a lot of people, unless they work on it, can decide to yell and kick and scream to get whatever they want as adults too.
Right. This becomes their habit.
This becomes your habit, and it goes to a place where you're not even consciously aware or consciously thinking of it.
Okay.
The cool thing about what neuroplasticity teaches us is that we actually have control over our brain, over our thoughts. So in the very front part of our brain, behind the forehead, is the place called the neocortex, the frontal lobe. And this part of the brain is kind of like the CEO. It's the executive part of the brain, and it tells all of the other part. Like whenever you're just daydreaming and you have a vision, and it's a spark of an idea, and it's like, oh wow, that would be beautiful, that's amazing. Usually you're in that creative mode. That's the CEO, just wondering, working. And then the CEO starts telling the other parts of the brain, okay, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, go do this to make my vision come true, right? And the other parts of the brain start working together. So if you find a pattern of thought or a connection in your brain, let's say the fear of failure, that's really big for a lot of people, right? Because it used to be that if we failed, especially with our tribe in the wilderness, and things didn't work out well for us, we could get lost on the hunt, we could be excluded from our group, and somebody by themselves, alone, not in a crowd, evolutionary speaking, is much more vulnerable to predators, to, you know, so our brain doesn't want us to fail because it wants us to keep safe and keep connection. So doing something different, doing something new, doing something innovative becomes really scary.
Yeah, right.
And so the best way that I have found for myself, for my clients, to get past this is to actually train your brain the opposite. So if you're afraid,
like how to train in a negative or other direction?
Right, exactly. So if you're afraid of failure, and it's something that's really scary, and so it makes you not take action, something that I would recommend doing is picking 10 activities maybe that are a little bit easier to start out with, that you've never done because you're afraid you're going to fail at them.
Okay.
Make a list and then do it.
But how to do it? This is a really question, that how to do it, because we are feeling negative about those things. We are having a fear of doing those things. So how to do?
So sometimes it's easy for somebody to just, okay, fine. And that's why I say the idea is to start off with something that's a little bit easier, to show your brain, hey, I did it and I didn't die. I did it. So like, I remember for myself when I first started coaching, I started making little Facebook or live video posts, and I'm usually like on my Facebook. I used to be a very private person. I had, 200 friends. Everything was private. I did it to get on and to do lives. It was completely outside of my comfort zone. It wasn't something that I ever wanted to do because my brain was telling me, hey, if you get on Facebook Live, then you're exposed to the world and you're vulnerable and people might reject you and they might not like what you say. And ultimately you're going to get kicked out of the tribe and no one's going to like you and you're going to die. That's what my brain was thinking, right? So I set a exercise for myself. I said for 30 days, I have to get on because I want to form new connections in my brain. So for 30 days, I'm going to get on Facebook and create a 3 to 5 minute video about something that I did to make life really nice for myself when I first started getting out of my own depression and why I wanted to coach and just sharing with the world. And so that for me was a little bit, it was scary. I didn't want to do it, but I told myself, you show up and you have to do it, period. And so sometimes for people, it's like you pick something, it's 3 to 5 minutes, it's not a big deal, so you pick something kind of easy that's still scary, that's stepping outside of your boundaries, but a little bit easier in order for
it's all like taking a baby steps to go higher, to go further.
Which is a really great example because they say it all the time, but the way that a baby actually learns to walk is by falling.
Yeah.
And it's not like we ever watch a baby and say, up, you fell on your first try. You're never going to walk. Stop it. Just sit in the chair, just hang out, right?
Yeah.
The cool thing is that the baby actually learns to walk, and every time the baby falls and it uses different muscles to get back up, it strengthens the muscles that it needs to walk. So that falling is actually teaching it how to use the right muscles to start walking. So you watch a baby fall 100 times and then all of a sudden I can go from mom to dad and it's easy, right? But for babies, we give a lot more excuses and a lot more love and a lot more enjoyment, right?
Right.
So that would be with something that's like pretty easy. That's pretty, I wouldn't say it still has to push you outside of your comfort zone. It can't be just something you do every day. But let's say you want to create a new outcome in your life and you set a goal and you pick something that is going to retrain your brain, something that feels a little iffy, but you're going to show up and do it anyways, right?
Right.
Now, what happens when there's a bigger issue or a harder problem or something like you were saying, but how do I actually do it? Like, okay, the easy stuff is absolutely fine, but like this is really difficult for me and there's no way I'm even going to pick something easy for this, right?
Right.
So here, and if I like had a specific situation, I would be able to usually anything that seems like a really big, a big project or something that's really difficult, usually it's because you haven't broken it down into small details.
Okay. So,
my dog.
like dividing a task into some steps, right? Like dividing a total task into some minor steps. This is what you are talking about.
Sorry, my dog likes talking to the neighbors sometimes. Right. So you write it down into, hey, come on. So you write it down into lots of smaller little steps and you say, okay, which of these steps can I do? Is there anything here that I can do that's a little bit easier? Now, what happens if you write it down into small little steps? I'm getting to where you want to go because I know you want to go to like, what happens if I can't do it at all? All the little small steps are not fun, right? Like, I don't want to do any of this, but I do because it's my goal. So there's a really cool part about taking the prefrontal cortex and using it to observe the patterns in your brain. So let's say you're in fear mode or whatever it may be, you want to accomplish something new, but you just cannot get up to start doing any kind of action. And I highly recommend, if you can do any kind of action, start acting. That's very, very important, because you're every time you act, you're starting to build new pathways in your brain, right? But let's say you cannot take any kind of action. It's really overwhelming. It's really hard. It's really challenging.
Right. Right.
What can you do?
We can only try to do things.
But what can you act? Trying is like, do you have a pen or anything? And try to take your headphone out of your ear. No, you took it out. You actually did it. Try to do it.
One. I removed one so I can hear you.
Oh, right. But I'm saying you actually removed it, so you did it. You weren't trying.
Yeah, right.
You actually did it. So, try to do it.
Actually, it's not try, because this is an easy thing, so I can just remove it without even trying.
Right. But I'm saying, people often say you got to try, but trying is complete indecision. When you're saying I can try to do it, it's really like, what would that even look like? If they're in, they're in. If they're out, they're out. It doesn't make any sense, right?
I agree. I understand.
So the idea then becomes, is what can you actually do?
What can I actually do? Just do the things and let's fail in that. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just say that again.
Yeah. I'm saying that we can just do the things, and if we fail, then we just do it again. So this is what we can do, basically.
100%. But what if the fear of failure is so big that you don't even want to get up to do anything?
Then we just sit in a corner and just feel sad about it that we are not able to do this thing.
Perfect. So you can feel sad. Can you also feel happy?
It's a bit harder.
Can you evoke feelings in your body?
Happiness feelings you are talking about right now.
Or no. Let's say you're saying feeling happy about it is too far of a reach. That's too hard, right? When you're feeling really sad, feeling happy like this is like, okay, say
it's a bit harder.
But can you acknowledge that you can feel?
I think we can feel happy in this situation as well, but we have to control our thoughts about this situation. Like, what is good in this situation? Like, through which we can feel happy. What are the things which makes us feel happy, and what are the things? I'm not understanding that how to do it, basically.
Right. So that's the next level. Is starting to think about the situation in ways, at least if we can't take any action, at least we can think.
Right.
And at least we can feel.
Right.
And so let's say it's too difficult. It's something that's challenging for us. We do want to do it. And let's bring this back around to your original question. How do you do something for somebody and want to feel received, and that they'll do that for you, and to feel comfortable and to feel like there's a relationship and it's mutual, without having these expectations that bring you down?
Right.
So let's say there's somebody, I don't know, do you have any, like a more specific example?
More specific example about expectations you are talking about.
Yeah, just for, is it a boss? Is it a girlfriend? Is it a kid? Is it a...
So let's talk about two things. Like, I have done some good stuff for my office, and they just didn't recognize it. And like, if I have done some good work, and they just recognize it, they just ignore that work. So at that time, our expectations hurt. And another thing is regarding my other career perspective. Like, I'm making YouTube videos, but they are not getting too much good engagement. So at that time also my expectation got a bit hurt, because it took me around 3 to 4 hours or like 5 to 6 hours to make a video and then editing it, but the response is like 100 likes, 200 likes, 300 likes. So at that time also my expectations hurt.
That's more likes than my videos get.
Actually, previously I used to make some comedy stuffs, but at that time I got around like 13 to 14,000 likes. But then I started some more inspirational things. Then the likes like they have reduced up to a extent.
Right.
So at that time my expectations hurt.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually I'm saying, like, when I'm making some good like comedy stuff, so at that time the likes are higher. But now I am making some inspirational stuff, the likes got decreased.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm giving almost same time. I'm giving almost 4 to 5 hours for a single video.
So the thought that you have there and the expectation is, if I put in a certain amount of time, if I put in the hard work, if I create these videos, I want the reward of likes.
Yeah.
That would feel good to my brain. That would feel good
Right.
to me because I feel accepted. I feel like I'm producing valuable material. I feel like, right? So it's dependent on the circumstance of what happens at the end of making that video. If I show up at work and I complete this project and I do this and I do that, I would like to see some kind of reward.
Right.
Can you see how that thought and that motivation wouldn't feel so good when you know that you can't control other people, or you can't control a circumstance, or you can't control a outcome?
If we think like this, that we can't control other person, that will definitely give us some relief, that whatever is happening, this is just happening.
But what is it that we can do? And that is, what can we do within ourselves?
We can improve our videos, like, this is what I can do, this is what is in my control.
But even instead of improving the videos, and that's already an action step, can we change the idea or the thought on, why am I creating the videos? Why am I showing up being the best person that I can be at work?
I'm making videos because I give some inspirational stuff to my students while teaching, and they appreciate it. So I think that this is a good thing which should be reached to each and every person, so that they can also feel some good, they can also feel some inspiration in their life. So that's the basic main reason of making such videos.
So when you're thinking that way, even if one person sees your video and one person is touched and one person feels like they have a positive impact, did you meet your goal?
I think this way I have met my goal. Like, at least one person appreciated it, at least one person changed his life through that video. Like,
now, what if that person never liked it, never commented, never told you, and you had absolutely no clue? But they happened to see your video, they watched it, and somewhere across the world, they now are inspired and did something nice for somebody else. because of your video.
That's really a very nice point you have just mentioned right now, and it really feels good to
Right.
think it like this way.
Right. Do you get the shift that happens there?
Right. I understand it.
So what shifted? What shifted there?
The negative thoughts which are coming to my mind, that just diverted into a positive one.
And what specifically? What was the negative part that shifted to the positive?
Like, negative part is like people are not a lot of people are not watching my videos, and then it shifted to the who are watching my videos are feeling good. At least they are not showing that they are feeling good, but still they are feeling good and they are doing something good for other persons as well. So the overall objective of that video is achieved.
And so what happens to your idea of expectations and outcomes?
Actually, the feeling of sadness disappearing through this.
Perfect. And why do you think that's happening?
Why? Because we are thinking in a positive way.
Beyond the positive, what did you just do for yourself? Where's your control? Where's your power?
It's like, like controlling our thoughts, like, but we are like thinking about the problem.
And instead of giving power to how many people watch my videos, how many likes I got, having an expectation on the outcome, your motivation shifted. Your intention shifted. Right? From what can this do for me to what can I do for somebody else?
Well, that's right.
And that feeling. So now this is where, and we kind of stop before I ask for a specific example. If you cannot take any action and you're feeling very overwhelmed, continue to ask yourself why you want that outcome. And get really in tune with who you are as a person and what feelings and emotions you're going to have when you achieve that outcome.
Right.
And that you always have control over. You can sit there and contemplate and wonder and bring in and arouse feelings in yourself, a feeling as if the outcome already occurred. So now, what would you feel like, not only if it was theoretical that somebody across the world watched one of your videos and it had a positive impact, but that 10,000 people actually were watching your videos and they were all sending likes and shares and they were showing you that the positive impact, how would you feel in your body?
Like, if many of the pupils are watching my videos and they are just sending that they are feeling some good about this thing, I will feel good. Obviously, I will feel good. But if it is not really impacting their life, then it doesn't feel good.
Okay, so let's say right now, for the context of it, the whole reason you want to do this is to create a positive impact on people's lives.
Right.
That's what it sounds like to me. So
Right.
So can you, from the comfort of your chair at home, sit and envision and feel like you're creating a positive impact in people's lives before that ever occurs?
Yeah, I can feel it. I can visualize it.
So that is exactly how you rewire the brain. Where you take those programs of being scared or frustrated or feeling isolated or things that we picked up all along the way, our brain is running on these connections all the time and thinking these, it's like it created like highways. Have you ever started going home and you don't even, or you had an idea to go somewhere and you're not even thinking, and then all of a sudden you're driving like something you're super used to driving, like you're on your way home and you didn't even realize that you meant to go to the store?
This happened with me many times.
Right. So our brain gets to this place where it's programmed. It's so used to it. And it starts to go there over and over and over and over. But you always have the choice, always, to say, you know what? I can choose to think as if right now, and I can choose to bring it into my body, and I can choose to be right now with my feelings and emotions as if my goal is already done.
Right.
And what your brain starts doing, at first it feels really uncomfortable because your brain's like, no, I don't want to release those chemicals. I want to release these chemicals. I'm really used to releasing these chemicals. This highway is really easy drive for me. I know it like the back of my hand. I'm going home. Stop it. Where's this new place you're taking me? So our brain almost and our body kind of get into this dialogue of, why are you doing this? But the more that you practice, the more that you create the idea in your head, the more that you visualize, the more that you really feel it in your body, the more connections you're making in your brain for a new highway to form.
Right.
And it's really retraining and reprogramming your brain to work in a way that is different than the way that you're used to.
I agree.
And some people take this work a lot further, and like Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches, I'll put a link or I'll send you a comment, but he actually teaches this in really great detail scientifically. And he's written a few books called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and You Are the Placebo. And if you really want to get into this work, he has some really amazing meditations, and he does meditation retreats, but they're pre-recorded where I have a friend who has a few meditations on YouTube. I can send you a link to his channel, where you sit in meditation for a little bit longer than most people are comfortable with, 45 minutes to an hour, some are a little bit longer. But every time your body says, no, I don't want to think this new way, I don't want to think this new thought, you go in and through meditation, once again, you start, no, we're going to think this new way. We're going, so you continue to focus on the future outcome. And through this practice, Dr. Dispenza has been helping people in a really public environment do things like heal cancer, heal blindness, correct huge depression, manifest extraordinary miracles. He's so loud. But manifest really amazing, promotions and really great situations by affecting the quantum field first, which is a whole other coaching discussion. But yeah, so I'll give you a little link to that, because you can do this work really, really deeply, and it has profound effects.
Sure. I will love to hear that. I will love to see that channel so that I can learn something new.
Right, that's why. And Joe Dispenza has a lot of things on YouTube too, where you can just watch his work for free, which is absolutely awesome.
That's great. Joe Dispenza. Okay.
Awesome.
Sure, I will watch it.
So Ash-eesh, how do you feel? Is there anything else have I been helpful today? Can I help you with anything else?
No, today you have almost covered all the topics which are impacting my mind, which are just going through my mind. So I just have a clear picture about those thoughts, that how we need to think, how we need to analyze the situation. So I totally agree with your points. And it really makes me feel better.
Beautiful. I'm looking forward to send me a link to your YouTube channel. I want to see your inspirational videos. And I'm looking
Sure, I will.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I will just provide you the link of my channel. So you just give my reviews to my channel, that how I am doing and what I need to change.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and I would love to see your progress, and I would love to see if there's a shift in when you start creating videos from the place of, it doesn't even matter if one person watches it on the other side of the world and doesn't even send me a message, but it changes them positive or helps them get somewhere positively. Rather than, hey, I want people to watch this and I want to, get known and I want people to see my channel. I want to see what the likes are, because I have a feeling that it's usually when you do things that are so genuine and it doesn't matter who watches and it doesn't matter how many likes you get, that's when people start liking your stuff way more.
Right. I agree.
I love it. All right, my friend. Thank you so much for getting on this live Zoom call. These are so fun.
Thank you so much to you too as well, because you have taken your valuable time for me. Actually, I was planning this session last week, and then it's happening this week. So it's really nice session for me.
I'm glad you liked it. Perfect. Thank you for being here. I'm super grateful. And yeah, be in touch. Let me know if you ever have any other questions, okay?
Sure, Yana. Sure. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ash-eesh. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your day today.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.